Hey everybody. All right, it is 7:59, so I'm a little bit early. Let me make sure all this, yeah, it looks like everything's coming through. All right. Welcome to the nightly version of this. I don't know what my schedule is going to be, but we're going to try this night thing rather than the 7 a.m. Um, 7 a.m. wasn't working for a lot of people. Anyway, so I got to keep my eye on a bunch of different things. So, anyway, uh, welcome to the nightly version. I'm learning more and more every day about doing these kind of streams and doing different reactions and things like that and learning all sorts of things. So um, let's celebrate and let's figure it out. I will make sure that all of this is going right. It's saying starting soon still, so I'm wondering if this is actually even coming through. But we'll figure it out. I'm watching it and I'm trying to watch the live stream, make sure all of that. But there's generally a delay, and that delay could be pretty significant depending on the buffering. Anyway, tonight I want to talk about AI and AI's use in various startups and what people are doing with it, whether it be doing some simple automation with Zapier and being able to tie different things into workflows or doing something really complex of fine tuning an existing model and then doing things from that. I'm just going to talk really high level for those who aren't familiar with all the different things you can do with AI, but I want to make sure that I cover some of the basic topics that people are asking me about. And I'm like, all right, let me just talk about it on the stream. So here I am, and it's still not coming through. So I want to make sure that this is coming through. It looks like it's running and it is live. There we go. I don't know why it was delayed. It was really, really delayed. All right. So, uh, for those of you who are here, thanks for joining me. Um, so let's talk about what you can do with AI. There's two things that everyone knows. You can create fun images and you can actually have it write text. Great. But if you do those things together, then you actually get content and stories. And then some of them you can actually create videos. Before all of that generative AI came out, there's a lot more of different types of automation that you could do. Those kind of automation tools, Zapier has actually done the best that I've seen in regards to that. But even before those kind of tools that were tying things, you would be able to write scripts, basic bash scripts or Python scripts, and those Python scripts would allow you to do run a cron job. I talked about cron jobs actually on Sunday on how to set up a cron job on your local laptop. Works. It'll run on a regular basis, and that is a level of automation. That is automation. That is not AI. People have all these convoluted ideas of what AI and machine learning is, and oh, if I can use AI, then I can do all of these things. It can do all these things for me. Well, it can do some of those things for you. It can't do all of those things. Mainly because it's going to learn from data that you're going to provide it or data that it's already been trained on. And then that data is what it's going to give it information about what it's going to actually deliver. So if you have really, really crappy training data, then you'll have really, really crappy results. So I think of, let's just talk about the generative image stuff. There's a lot of tools out there. I have played with, let's see, Dolly, Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, Leonardo, the new Bing one, which is Copilot, I think is the what they've actually labeled it. That one's actually pretty nice too. Anyway, those are some of the big ones. Those are the ones I've played with. Really big fan of Leonardo, especially when you're doing faces and characters and images and people. Um, if you're doing environments, it's a little, it's okay for environments. Midjourney is actually better for that. If you're doing a combination of things, I really liked what Copilot has done. So kudos to Microsoft. I know Adobe Firefly has ways to actually generate things. What I'm really surprised of is Getty Images actually has their own version of a generative AI. And when I heard that Getty Images has one, I was really excited about what it can do. I haven't looked at it yet, just to be honest, but I'm really curious because their source of image data is probably the best in the world. And no one can really compete with that. There is like Google Images is great, but Getty Images quality and the amount of historical data that they have that they could use to train on is insane. So, all of that being said, all exciting. Now, when you start automating things, you're going to use a tool. You're not going to write your own LLM and you're not going to provide it with petabytes of data and you're going to wait, I don't know, 6 weeks on training it and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on GPU systems to actually train your model. It's not going to happen. You're going to use a tool that's already done. Now, identify what those tools are. There's a lot of search engines out there that will help you find those tools. We all know about ChatGPT. We all know about Dolly for images. Go find a tool that works. What I really like, and this is not a promotion, I don't work for them. I've used their product because it's great. But Zapier, I've seen a lot of ads for it recently, is really good at connecting the dots of all of these things. And I know this firsthand because recently I created a workflow in Zapier that allowed me to do automated tweets. And I wanted to see how far I could go. So, what I was able to do is I set up an automated tweeting system that would go to basically it would do a trigger on a date time. So I think it was every day at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever. And then after it would do that schedule, it would then go to ChatGPT and it would submit a prompt that would be something like write a tweet about the latest in startups. Let's just say that. It would generate that. Then I would take that result. I would actually have that result then get uh, tweaked using some of Zapier's text tools. Then I would send it to Buffer, which would then schedule that tweet at whenever my schedule is for Buffer. So Buffer is another system that sets up a queue for all your social media. Anyway, I did that for, I don't know, like 2 months. Set it up, did it on a weekend, and just let it run. And what happened? It started writing tweets 4 times a day. So consistency was really important because I wanted to see everyone's like, oh, you need to be more consistent on your social media. That's not true. Let's just be honest about it. That's a lie. You don't need to be consistent on your social media. You need to be valuable on your social media. I could write all of these tweets, whether they came from me or they came from AI, it didn't matter. I got a few more views, a few more followers. It doesn't really matter. But the thing that I've realized is my follower count, I could actually look that up. My follower count really is still at, because what, 217 followers after 2 months of posting 4 times a day consistently. And I can't be any more consistent. I guarantee it was consistent. But if you go back here, I'll actually show you some of, here, let's go there. Ta-da! So you can see automated. You can see the format of the automation is pretty consistent. And then then you see ones that I've actually written. And then another one I've actually written. Some reposts. But if you look, let's look. 35, 21. That's not me. That's Jason. 19, 17. So a real one that I wrote got 40, right? Then automated 27, 26. For some reason, this one got 76. Who knows, right? It's very inconsistent. 35, 20, right? But I'm generally getting about, let's just say, 35 views. But then when I do regular posts, I'm getting about the same. So this is another generative AI. This is mine with Styler AI. Kind of fun. Uh, Really, it's completely free. It was really great. It actually uses a picture to generate, and you can actually tweak what you want this to look like too. It's kind of fun. Um, yeah. See, 12 minutes ago. Look, 22 followers at that point. Anyway, I mean 22 views. But you can see that 217 followers. Consistency isn't what matters on social media. AI is not the solution for your social media. AI is just creating garbage for most people. It is a great way to give you, I guess, concepts, but you need to be more authentic when you're actually going to be doing it. If you're not, then you're writing garbage and you're putting out garbage and you're spreading garbage. Um, it didn't work. I tried it. But was I able to actually automate it? Absolutely. There is some, I don't know if I can go back that far, but I've been doing it for a while, but there is some a long time ago and that I actually was even automated. Um, Here, let me show you something that's funny. So one of the things I thought was really interesting is when I was actually going through it. So I got 2.1 million views, right? And everyone's like, wow, that's a really great number. Well, that's on my Google Maps contributions. I eat at a lot of restaurants, so I review them and write about them. That's just something I do on the side. I take pictures. If I eat somewhere, I let them know that, hey, their service was horrible or the food was amazing or whatever. Um, Great example, huge plug. Pop Up Bagels, went there on Monday. Amazing place. My favorite bagels in the city. Not a promotion, not a paid advertisement, none of that. Just a place that I went to and I liked. Anyway, but a long time ago, I tied Zapier into Dolly, and it was generating images in addition to, you can see all of these tweets right here, that they're all very, very similar. Um, and all of that is all automation. So wow, December. So I've been doing this for quite some time. Let's see when I go. Uh, going back. Trying to get to where I had those images that I was generating with with Dolly, and I also did that through Chat GPT. So by doing that, I was like, okay, well, maybe not just text, but images will get. Oh, I wonder. So there's a picture of an image 21. So not a whole lot more interactions or engagements or just views alone, right? Wow, there's a lot. What month am I on? I'm in August. So yeah, and these are all automated. I should actually go back in Zapier and see when I started this. Um, let's see. 8, 11, 23 July. I guess that's as far as it goes back. Wow, I've almost got 2,000 posts. Anyway, so July 8th looks like when I started doing it. But it's crazy. Um, I wonder what I did with all those other AIs. Needless to say, there was a lot of automated tweets in here, and they're just repetitive. They weren't they didn't have the level of authenticity and they didn't have the level of engagement that anyone could ever want, right? 11 people looking at my tweet is not that important. Anyway, back to AI. So with AI, it can actually learn how to do different things. And what it can do is actually learn about your style or your communication. 11 Labs is another one that will actually allow you to clone your own voice, and then you can actually use Descript with 11 Labs, and then you can actually create an entire podcast with just have ChatGPT write your script, take that script, feed it into Descript, have Descript use an 11 Labs clone, and that entire workflow will generate an entire content for you. It's not you though. And that's the part that I'm kind of interested in. And some of the concerns with automation, sure, AI will help you do things. Automation actually help you improve your decision making and help you improve different things like personalization and the customer experience, right? So when somebody comes to you, you can actually uh, improve the content that you're generating specifically for that individual the more you learn about that individual. But how do you learn about that individual? So the way you learn about that individual is you track them. You track them on social media, you track them on LinkedIn, you track them on uh, their Google Maps, on where they've visited, restaurants they like, um, stories they've read, things like that. And you learn more and more about the individual. The more you learn about the individual, the more you can have curated content for that individual. However, people don't want to share all of that information. And that's one of the next concerns that people have with AI is, well, how is all of this AI learning about me? Well, it's not really. It could be, but what it's really doing is it's learning about massive amounts of data and massive amounts of connections in regards to all that data. And it actually generates ways to figure out how to get to a new conclusion, whether that conclusion is about you or that conclusion is about whoever is actually currently on the website. And whoever that may be, it can actually take these various pieces of data, go through the path to get to a conclusion that would probably be 90% accurate. And it will know more about you than you realize. Uh, one of the things I've seen is people will Google themselves and see what Google knows about you. And there's a lot of data that Google has collected of where you've been, what you've shopped for, where you've booked travel to, where you've eaten. Especially with Google Maps, it actually knows where you've actually been and spent time. And all of that data is very, very valuable because then it knows more about you. And then you can use AI to actually, I hate to use the word target, but that's what they're doing. It's targeted. It will target you to actually give you something that might be useful to you specifically. Uh, there are certain products out there that you will never know about because you're not in the market for them. But you might be in, great, I'm doing a podcast, right? I'm doing a live stream right now. What am I in the market for doing a live stream? Well, cameras, mics, lights, things like that. So all of that is actually really important uh, to me. So then I start seeing ads for, hey, this is a 8K webcam, or this is a new lighting system with blah blah blah, and oh, here's a stream deck that you might find interesting, here's a great new condenser mic that you might want to use, and all of that gets targeted towards me because I'm looking into doing streams or doing podcasts or doing video production and things like that, and all of that helps me go, oh wow, that's a great product, maybe I should check that out. And if I check it out, then I use it, it's like, hey, it's great, and then I'll promote it or I'll talk about it at least. And when I talk about it, then people will be like, oh, well, he's using it and it sounds really good. But you need to realize all of that is being targeted towards me because of what I've actually looked at. And now that you're interested in doing the same thing, some of those ads will be targeted towards you. But they had to learn all of that about me to actually get me that information. It's really a complicated problem. Could talk about ad targeting for a long period of time, but tonight's not that night. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about is how AI can actually help with process automation. A lot of times we actually have our own process, and this is how we've done this, or this is how we've done that, and we've always done it that way. No, that's a red flag if you ever hear that. We've always done it that way. Well, have you ever questioned about why you're doing it that way? Because that way might not be right. Uh, People don't like to do that serious introspection of their own process because it's gotten them this far. To get to the next level, they have to actually pause and realize maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe I'm doing this part right, but I could probably fix these other things I don't want to talk about. Or I can fix these other things, but I still want to do this thing over here that kind of is fun, but it's not really the direction I want to go, or I want to do this, or I don't want to do that. And you have to pause, right? Sometimes you just have to pause. There's a lot of, like, you'll see, I think I have some of them up there. Yeah. Clean my background. Well, my wife cleaned my background for me. So I have my Saints helmet. And yeah, oh, yeah, I'm originally from New Orleans. For those who don't know, go Saints. I will always be a Saints fan till the day I die. That's just who I am. All right. Um, but the process automation, when you stop and analyze your own process, you will realize what's going right, where your bottlenecks are. And there are a lot of times when you're looking at a process end to end that it's not necessarily you need to improve something. A lot of times you need to remove something. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people to hear. You're like, wow, you don't actually need this step at all. It's busy work. And if you get rid of that step, then you can actually circumvent all of these problems you have. A lot of the decisions people are using AI for can be very, very efficient. However, they might not be fed the right amount of data to make the right decisions. So people like to have multiple people in meetings to make decisions. That does, yeah, designing by committee is not a good thing. It is much better to actually build a product, get that product in production, and then let the people that are actually using it give you feedback, right? There was a saying a long time ago of if you want 100% test coverage, release your product to the masses. You'll get your test coverage. It might not be from the people you want, but you'll get your test coverage and you'll get the feedback and you will find your bugs because they'll let you know. People will always let you know when they have problems. Very rarely do people praise things. They will not reach out to support the saying, wow, you wrote an amazing article, or you did a really great job on this product, or I love this app. It's so exciting for me. Most of those testimonials and things like that are because either the person who created it is reaching out, hey, can you give me a testimonial? You've been a user of ours for, or a client of ours for so long. Can you give us a testimonial? However, if you do something that annoys them or irritates them, they will be very, very quick to jump on social media and talk about you, send you a support email and let you know what's wrong, how you did something wrong, how you ruined their lives and made everything horrible because the product you created didn't do these two things that they thought it was going to do. And now they've spent all this money. And a lot of times it might be $1.99 for an app, but they will be more than happy to complain about it on every platform they can. So when you're automating processes, understand where your data is coming from. And if you're designing by committee, if you're identifying gaps in your own process or uh, extra steps in your own process, you might want to remove them and clean up your process. And you can use AI to do that. But let's generally, when I start doing any type of and I'm going to remove the word AI and I'm going to use the word automation. When I start automating anything, I want to be able to do it consistently, manually, at least 3 times. If I can't do it 3 times in a row, it's going to be really hard for me to automate it. After I can do it 3 times in a row, the next thing I will do is write a script. And I will have a script that will actually allow me to automate that. Great. Now that I've automated it, let's let it run for, I would say, if I'm doing it daily, I would like it to run for 2 weeks. And was it consistent? Did it do what I wanted to do for those 2 weeks? Did it have a timeout? Was there a power concern? Right? I'm teaching you about debugging and debugging process and how to actually reach an automation level. After you've done that and it's run for 2 weeks, you're like, great, I can automate that task. I can put it on the back burner and I can just let it run. And it can deliver those alerts or daily emails or daily notifications or whatever that process is going to do. And it will gather all of this data for me of daily runs, daily tests, daily notifications, hourly. It depends on how frequent you're running it. But that actually generates a better result. And then you have more data to actually teach other people about, hey, this is how this process works. Great, we have this other process that we want to do. Help them automate that. And then when you do that, then once you can teach something, then you really know it. So, 3 steps of manual, 1 step automation. Make sure you can teach it. Just simplify your process. Don't over engineer things, don't overcomplicate things. And no decision is the worst decision. And I can't say that enough. People get in this state of analysis paralysis of I can't release this, I can't release that. Oh, what if the competition is doing all of this, or competition's doing all of that, or I'm too far behind. And I love the story of Google in regards to that. For those who haven't been around for, I don't know, 30 years or longer, there was a search engine that a lot of us remember called Alta Vista. Alta Vista was the best search engine on the planet. It was amazing. It did great things. And then MSN had a search. And then everyone just, the answer was, hey, go to Netscape and go to Alta Vista. And you can search things and it'll find things on the web. It was the default, it was the answer. Then Google thought they could do a better job. And you know what? They did. They did an amazing job. Did they have competition? Did they have basically a default of somebody they were trying to compete with? Absolutely. They were going against a juggernaut at that time, and they won because they didn't worry about what they were doing. They were worried about what they weren't worried about what the competition was doing. They were worried about their problem alone. And they were solving their own problem. They wanted to make the search better, faster, more useful. And they did. And look at that market, right? It was obviously Google turned out to be this juggernaut of a search engine now. And now they're actually training things on different searches and how to optimize for their own searches and how to actually improve this or improve that. And there's so many things that you can do in regards to search engine optimization, or uh, there are companies out there that say we can guarantee on the first page of Google search. Well, you can guarantee that by doing a paid ad at the top. And technically you've done it. So understand what your goal is, what problem you're trying to solve. And when you're going to solve that problem, focus on the problem that you're solving. Don't worry about your competition. Don't worry about these 10 other AI products out there. Don't worry about uh, what you think you could be doing better, do what you know. Solve your own problem. Once you solve that problem, get it out of the market, and then have other people give you the feedback, you'll be amazed at then what you can use various tools to improve the automation of the process, whether it be the DevOps side of things. Maybe you can tie into another AI and have that AI as part of your own process. And then you can raise the level for both companies, right? And you'll be able to educate about how to actually get the startup. I started doing streaming this year. I guess technically December, so last year. But it was new to me. I've done video production a long, long time ago, but nothing at home, nothing at a private studio, nothing with these kind of mics and situations. So I wanted to learn about it. Everyone's on YouTube, so I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. So here I am on YouTube at 8:30 at night talking about AI and startups and all the stuff I really like to talk about. And I figured out OBS. I figured out different cameras, right? I figured out what a Stream Deck can do. I figured out, I guess, all sorts of things. And I learned so much in regards to doing it. So if I like, I even have my secondary camera. So, eh. uh, I have a way to switch cameras. I have a way to do an applause, right? But all of that I figured out over time. And I mean, I'm gonna probably talk more about this on Thursday. Tonight I wanted to talk about AI and automation and the difference of all of that. Automating something does not make AI TLDR, right? That's it. Just because you automated something doesn't mean you're using AI. You just improved a process. It's fine. But what I want to talk about on Thursday is consistency. And you saw what I did with Twitter. I was really, really consistent with social media. But consistency in real life versus consistency using AI, completely different things. And I'm trying a new consistent approach. I have to figure out what my schedule was going to be. And I want to be consistent for the people that are actually paying attention. So thanks for coming by. I will be here on Thursday to talk more about consistency. I will be more than happy to answer questions about artificial intelligence or machine learning or anything startup related because startups are truly what I love. And if you have a process that you think isn't working for you, let me know. I can help you. I would love to chat with you and maybe do an interview on one of my live streams and we can solve it out real time. Uh, but that's all I had today. It's 8:30. I try and make these about a half hour so the people that are commuting can play it tomorrow morning. But thanks for coming by. It's been a lot of fun talking about it. Kind of like the great black and white camera. And I guess that's it. I will see you all on Thursday and thanks again. Have a good one.